Hey, folks, welcome back to another episode of the Hunter Ridge Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Redmond. And on today's episode, I'm joined by Wade Rush, host of Bubba Roundtree Outdoors. You can find him on YouTube, you can find him on Facebook. And not only that, he's actually got another YouTube channel of poultry stuff. Actually, I haven't posted any videos in a while about that, but he's still got a channel, some old archive videos about that. But I am joined with Mr. Wade today. Wade and I have been great friends for a couple years. And Wade, good to have you on here, buddy. How you been doing,
Oh,
man?
it's great to be here, Hoss. I hope you're doing good.
I am doing great, man. I'm doing good. Well, to get started, oh yeah, go ahead and let us know how's everything in the BRO studio going.
It's going. We finally got back to a time of year whenever the weather has moderated enough to where Rachel and myself can get back out here. And whenever Hammer can get over here to help, he gets over here about once a month. He gets over here to help. But here lately, I bet we've moved a ton of stuff up into the attic. So, excuse me. So that has been taking up a lot of time, just getting space ready to commence construction, getting everything out of the way so we can finish getting stuff put together.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's cool, man. Well, how's the? I know you become a grandpa just a few years ago. How's the grandkids doing?
Over there, the grand boys are doing fine. They are 4 and I think they are 3 and 5 now. So they've
Wow.
been in kindergarten. Yeah, I got one fixing to start grade school here real soon.
Oh wow. Does that make you feel old?
Yes, it does.
Well, buddy, like I said, man, I actually started watching y'all's channel back in 2017. I remember um the first video I ever saw of you guys was I can show you which one it was. It was one of the dog drive videos in 2017.
Hmm.
And you may agree with me on this, but the thumbnail was your daddy, Captain Buster.
Yep.
And for a minute, I thought he looked like Stan Potts. He looked like him, and he had the mask on, and his mustache was hanging over. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks like Stan Potts. So I
Yep.
clicked at the video, but and like I said, I just fell in love with the channel, man. I'm glad that I come across a Christian safe YouTube channel for hunters out there because, like I said, not a lot of YouTube channels, just YouTube channels in particular, are like that. And I'm glad I come across you guys and
No, we keep it all G rated. It is safe for the whole family.
praise the Lord. That's awesome, man.
Amen.
Amen for sure. Well, how uh how did you get started in hunting? Who got you into hunting?
Oh wow, that was a we've got a video series. It's called Deer Dog Driving in South Carolina, or a South Carolina tradition, and it's a series that goes all the way back to the beginning, like about 1963, whenever these guys first started getting together, and old high school buddies from the Camden area from back in the 50s and 60s, and they hooked up and started a club. And some of the old guys that actually started it, only a few of them are left, but they're still here, and it's the club. It's the roots of what they started all the way back in the early 60s.
Whew. That and like I said, I watched that one video that I watched all parts of those videos. Now that first one, man, that was some old photos.
Yeah, it goes back a long, long way.
That's good, man. Yeah, since we're talking about that, yeah, who started the dog drive tradition over there? Was it somebody outside of y'all's friends and family, or was it inside y'all's group that started
It
it?
was all inside. Captain Buster, Tommy Bone Hammond. Um, uh, Remember Uncle Bubba Powers? I'm sure you've seen him in some of our. He went home, I think, in 2016. But those were the gents that started the this club. Billy Shiver. He's also gone home now. We've got so many folks that started this thing that have all gone home now, and
Yeah.
but it's been around a long, long time. And most of us are the kids or grandkids of all of those gentlemen that started this thing.
Wow. Well, I know like today I see people like the Stokes boys, Heath and
Yep.
David Stokes, and then that what's that punk guy name?
Carl Cambites. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Cambites crowd. Yeah, Carl started hunting with us a long time ago. Yeah, we got pictures of him all way back in the 60s or 70s, early 70s, I think.
Wow. And don't you just love seeing the young guns, the little kids, especially Phil's
Oh
little
yeah.
girl?
We have watched Katie, we have watched Heath Stokes, we have watched the Air Boys all grow up. From time they could barely carry a shotgun, they full grown men and women now. And so yeah, it's been a lot of fun watching those youngins grow up, watching them take all their first deer, and some of them have turned into some fine hunters. They sure have.
Wow, that is amazing. Was it your? I'm sure it was your daddy and a lot of other people that got you into hunting, probably.
Oh yeah, I can. The first time that I ever went on a dog drive, I was 6, and this would have been back in the early 70s, and Captain Buster, we went over and we're hunting the venison farm, which was my grandparents. We were hunting the venison farm, and it dropped down to like 17 degrees that morning. And Captain Buster had warned me in halftime. We're brothers, Russell, and he said y'all ain't wearing enough clothes, and we insisted that we figured we had on plenty of clothes. Well, I don't know how far we got into it, but we just about froze to death. And
Oh,
but Grandma's house was pretty close by, so we went in there. And at that time, they still cooked, did everything over a wood stove, and so we huddled around the wood stove and warmed back up. But that was my first hunting trip.
oh, wow. But so you basically grew up into the dog drive hunting style,
Yes,
evidently.
yes, I did. And now the one that we did not do a lot of still hunting or sitting and stuff like that, but we most of it was every Saturday. There was always a dog drive every Saturday, and it was an all-day hunt, and it was an all-day family affair. Somebody cooked lunch and all that. It was just a great day of hunting, and that's the way I grew up.
Ah, that's awesome. Like I said, that first experience for me, that was pretty cool. And I know my dad did that years ago, and actually that was the first time he'd done it in years. But
Mm-hmm.
that I think that brought back some memories for him. And then, like I said, man, like I said, I didn't shoot or see anything, but I'll definitely go again because it
Yeah,
was fun.
I love being outdoors, and it may not be the kind of hunting that suits everybody, but there's a lot of folks just like me that absolutely love it. And I'm the kind of guy, I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you want to wear a loincloth and you want to hunt with a pointed stick. I don't care. If it's legal in your state, get after it and do it however you want to
Right.
do it, but just get out there and do it.
That's exactly right. I love that. Um, how have you ever like gotten? And I know we have all these uh know-it-all type people that like to think they're always right, and you probably know where I'm heading with this. Have you ever got complaints of people when they watch the dog drive videos? They'd be like, "Oh, you can't steal hunt." Have you ever heard those people before?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we've heard it all. We've heard some horrible, terrible stuff. Oh yeah, there's a lot of folks out there that just completely lose their minds over the subject. But the uh, the real the real anchor of the situation, or real crux of the situation, is that if you go after one type of hunting, it's not going to be long when they're going to go after your type of hunting. If you go after and cancel one man's or one set of folks type of hunting, then they're going to go after your type of hunting, and you've got anti-hunters that are just egging the whole mess on all the time.
Yeah, that's honestly that was one thing I kind of feared or got afraid of when I posted that one video, and my dad had warned me about it too. And he ain't wrong. He sure ain't
Mm-hmm.
wrong. But I'm surprised at how many views I've got on that video. I mean, I've got over 700 views on it, and I don't have many videos that have gone over 500 views.
Mm-hmm.
And, I really personally think, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong on this one, but I think it's getting more popular again as far as the dog
It
drives
is.
go.
I see it too. And the thing about it, if you look at YouTube, I think that I was the first one back in 2012 that posted a dog hunting video the way we hunt, the way we do it. And it just exploded. It surprised us at how popular that it got. and now you look at YouTube now, there used to be only 3 or 4 or 5 of us that were doing this. Now there's just an army of dog hunting clubs that are out there putting out some really, really good content, some good videos, and showing folks that it's just a family event. It's just a different type of hunting. It may not be your way, but it's just a different way of getting the same job done.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely know, and we've learned that people in the club, there are people that only like to do the dog drives, and then
Right.
there are people that only like to do steel hunting. And then for someone like me, if I got a chance to go out there and get some meat, come on, I'm gonna go out there and do both of them.
That's right. Yep.
Because I mean, like I
We
said,
we do a lot of both. That's what with my family we love both. We love sitting over a corn pile. We love listening to their dogs run.
oh, that's awesome. I think that's one of the best things about going out there, like you said, and doing the dog drives, to listen to them hounds go, and then
Mm-hmm.
sure enough, hear some guns go off, and then get ready, here they come. So I love
It'll
it.
get
And
your heart rate. It'll get your cardio up for sure. It sure will.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Hey, I can tell you now, I if I do finally get that deer on a dog drive, I bet you I'll be hooked.
Oh yeah.
It'll happen, Lord willing. But and pardon for me being the perfect spot, but it looks like I got a looks like I've got a propeller helicopter on my head of the
Yeah, it
fan
looks
above
like you
me.
got one of those Hilo hats on.
Yeah, I look like I'm to be flying. I tell you, we can fix that right now. There we go. May get a little warm in here. That's all right. This house stays warm, by the way. Um,
Yeah, it's the same here. We got a southerly wind that started blowing, gusting up to about 20 just a few minutes ago. It
Same
feels
here.
more like mid March outside than mid February.
Oh, I know it. It's same here. We had a very big wind gust, and it's still going on today, right now. I mean, it looks a little calm out there now, but um, it gets bad when you can hear the whistling from inside your house.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I had the limbs scratching all over the top of the studio. I got a steel roof on this thing. It sounded like I was sitting in an old barn.
Wow, unreal. Yeah, man. Like, and I want people to go check out your channel because y'all got, here's how I look at it. When I eat supper or when I eat lunch, and I want to get an entertainment of watching hunting while I'm eating, I'll go to your channel. You're one of them. I, I I will hit that shuffle on the playlist and go to any random videos, which one I want to watch.
There's something there for everybody. We've got, and it goes back to 2007, I think it was. I started the channel to help Dad out because he was a professional fishing guide over in Santee Cooper Lakes and Watery Lakes, and he's pretty well retired now. But at that time, that's how we started the channel, was to help out with the fishing guide stuff. And then by 2012, we decided to go ahead and start recording some of our hunts, and it has exploded from then. It was
Wow.
above and beyond anything that we could ask or think would happen with it.
Unbelievable. That, like I said, we're all both the same. I never expected I'd be where I'm at now on this channel.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all have got what, over 50,000 subscribers?
We crossed 58,000 this week.
Wow, that's awesome. That is amazing.
Yep. It continues to grow fast.
That's great, man. I hope it continues to climb up. And like I said, and not only that, but the majority of the people are just like family, and they're such huge
Mm-hmm.
supporters for you
Yes, they
guys.
are. Yes, they
Especially
are.
what y'all been through the last year. I know y'all needed prayers more than ever.
Yeah, we went through that was the hardest trial I have ever been through in my life, and it was tough to get through, but Miss Joanne would have wanted us to get through it and to keep moving on with this ministry as we have done.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I know she told you said you get back to work.
That the two days before she went home, she pointed at my laptop that sits right next to my chair, and she said, "You need to get back to work." And so I said, "I'm gonna get back to work."
Wow. I think that gives you comfort in some form of that, man, when somebody tells
Oh
you
yeah.
that.
Absolutely, it does. It does. I'm not going to let her down. She helped start this thing, and so I may have to finish it alone, but with the Lord's help, we'll finish it alone.
Absolutely. And we love the fact that people can be there for us, and it really helps. But the biggest help and the help we should count on is the Lord for sure.
Yep. It's, if it hadn't have been for my faith in Jesus, I do not think I could have made it through this thing. And but you're correct about the family on these channels. That the folks that are subscribed and all that follow us are some of the best in the world. These folks, if it hadn't have been for those folks and their support, I don't know
Yeah.
how I would have gotten through this thing.
Well, absolutely, absolutely, for sure. Let's see. What's the this? I don't think I ever know, but what's the biggest buck you ever killed? Tell us that.
Well, I think I was a senior in high school,
Oh wow!
and there is a funny story behind this thing. And at this time, I was a senior in high school. Halftime was a junior in high school at Camden High. We had played Spring Valley High School the night before, traveling to Spring Valley and played. And we got up at 2:30 a.m. to get going, to get moving towards, because it takes 2 to 3 hours to get down to the Savannah River site, us being right in the middle of South Carolina and traveling right to the Savannah River site.
Right.
And so we got home a little after midnight that night after playing Spring Valley, and we lost the game, as a matter of fact. And this was in October, and so we got up at about 2:30, and both of us were about the Walking Dead. And anyway, but we got everything together, got the dogs loaded, and got down there. As you know, there's whenever you get there, you get through all kinds of nuclear security. You got to go through to get into the site and all that down there. But we got in there. Long story short, we got two great stands. One great stand for the morning, and another great stand for the afternoon. And we got in there, pulled in with the dogs, and we had about 15 minutes before we were scheduled to turn the dogs loose. They frown on you if you turn loose early, so you make sure you turn loose on time. We had 15 minutes. Next thing we know, we woke up 20 minutes later. We woke up and both of us had been asleep, and it was cold, and all the windows we drove a old J10 Jeep pickup, and all the windows were fogged over where we'd been in our sleep. And when we woke up, there was a pack of dogs, could have been 50 yards from the truck, and they were screaming outside. The dogs in our box were screaming because there were dogs screaming right there on top of them. And so Russell jumps out. I jump out. We're trying to get the guns loaded and all that stuff. He drops the tailgate, turns the dogs loose, and takes off and goes down in the bottom. He wasn't down in there. He wasn't down in there 5 or 10 minutes and killed two hogs. And there was hogs and deer all all running together, all in this place that we were at. I think it was Hunt Unit 44, which they called the hog barn. And then on the it was a long first hunt, but we made it through it, got two hogs, and then on the second hunt, we were on a massive power line, and I went into the backside of the drive, found a massive run, and just stopped on it about 200 yards from the truck. The dogs jumped. My dogs jumped and went in one direction. I had one old red bone that stayed with me, and we heard a pack coming across the power line, and I heard Russell start shooting and start hollering, "Look out! Look out!" But what I didn't know it was a 220-pound 8-point, had 21-inch inside spread, and he had a big doe and a 6-point with him. But I didn't know that. And so I saw the deer coming. They were coming straight at me, and I shot an old Remington 870 that I still have. And the deer were coming straight to me. I only saw two. The big doe was in front. I knew that there were two deer, and so I locked in on the big doe. Now things may have changed a little then, but down at that time in the early 80s in the Savannah River plant, they had tags to shoot every deer you saw. They wanted to make sure. I mean, we're talking everything, anything moving. They wanted you to take them all out because they were a big nuisance in the area. Lots of people got killed every year hitting them on the highways. So anyway, especially at that time, there was just a huge population of them there. And but anyway, the old doe ran up about 20 yards from me, and I rolled her up. And when I swung the shotgun around for the next one, that big old rascal slammed on brakes about 20 yards from me. I was shooting 24 pellet number one, and I shot him right here in the neck, and he rolled up, hit a pine top, and he come back up with that whole top in his horns. By now, he's about 15 yards from me, and he shook that top off. And when he did, he was broadside in and I shot him right in the side of the neck with a 15 pellet double off on the second one, and that ended that. I called halftime and tell him that I was going to need some help. And so he makes it in there. The dogs are still coming on the track, but they were beagles, so they weren't coming real fast. And he come in there, and while we were sitting there talking, he looked up, and here comes the 6 point right on the same track, the other two. And so he rolled him up. And so we ended up out of there with 2 hogs, 2 bucks, 1 trophy sized buck, and a big doe all that day after playing football into the wee hours of the morning. And still after all that made it back. But that's my biggest buck still. He's a 21-inch inside spread 8 point. I never had him officially scored, but he weighed over 200 pounds when they threw him on the scales because it was late in the day, and his head was laying on the ground when they threw him on the ground. So my guess is he probably weighed about 220.
Wow, that's a big deer.
That was a big one.
So go back. You said you killed the doe before the big boy came.
Yeah. I had focused in on the deer that was in front. He was about 15 yards behind her. So whenever she come up broadside, and inside of 20 yards or whatever, we would just shoot him in the head or shoot him in the side of the neck. And whenever she come up, I shot her right behind the ear, right in the side of the neck, and it was off just like lights were off just like that. And so it did the same thing to the buck. Whenever I swung over on him, that big old moose, whenever he was slant, that was a sight to see him squat down like a dog and sliding whenever he saw me. But it was too late then.
There you go, boy. Is that that's probably on one of the dog driving?
It's the one from the 80s. His picture will be on the clip from the 80s. Yep.
Okay. I've probably seen it, but I really want to see it. She told me it was your biggest.
Yeah, there's a lot of them to look at. There's bunches of them. So yeah, he's one of the. He's like a needle in a stack of needles.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Wow, that's a story.
It is. Yes, it is.
It's the same way actually, because when I went dog driving, there was like other people got plenty of tags. You shoot whatever you see.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And most places like that, they give them their own a quota system, so they give them a big old bundle of tags to fill, and most of them get down toward the end of the year, and they haven't used half of them yet. And so they get folks to come in and say, "Please help us shoot these deer."
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And I think a bonus thing of when you're dog driving, and I mean, like if you're still hunting, like me, if I got my eyes on certain bucks on camera, that'll be one particular one I'm after, and maybe a couple does and nothing small. But I think it's like a relief too, because on a dog drive, you want to shoot anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just a relief. Like I'm not having to keep my eye on one deer. Here in the dog drives, you get to shoot anything.
Yeah.
And I'm
especially with the even with the tagging system with us early enough in the season, you got all your tags and all that, then you don't have to worry about what comes out. You can take whatever comes out.
Right. That's good. That's wow. Because like I said, I think it's a relief too. Because basically, you just shoot deer. I mean, at the dog drive, and I like I said, some people like to do that in their regular still hunting, but like me, I like to hunt a nice buck, basically bigger than anything I've shot,
Right.
or maybe a nice big does, depending on at the place I'm hunting. But yeah, I'm actually looking at this picture right now. This is me and my dad and each of my cousins. For the first time, the 4 of us killed nice bucks this year.
Oh yeah. That's some nice animals right there now.
Yes, sir. Well, you know what? My cousin Weston right here, that's his first ever buck he killed.
Well, then he's going to have a hard time beating that one.
Oh, yeah. And So the thing is, that meant a lot to us because that's the first time the four of us, me, my dad, my two cousins, basically I said the only four people that hunt in my family, out of my cousins, uncles, or whoever, that and my main family, that's the first time the four of us not only just killed a buck in one season, but trophy ones.
Yep.
That's even a bonus because the four of us never killed a buck in the same year. But not only did we do that, I mean, we killed mature bucks.
Yep. There were a lot of folks I saw this year that took some really, really nice deer.
Yes. I don't know if it was the same way for y'all in South Carolina, but here
It
in North
was.
Carolina, I'll tell you what was the advantage of, I mean, seriously, my taxidermist, Mark, he said, y'all killed a lot of huge, nice bucks, and a lot of deer were killed this year. But I'll tell you why, lack of acorns falling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was the same down there for y'all, but over here, not a lot of acres were falling. So the corn was the giveaway.
We didn't have a lot. We had a decent acorn, but it has a lot of the acorns, depending on whether it's red oak or whether it's white oak. It depends on the previous year's rainfall on how your acorn harvest will be.
Yes.
So at that, but we the red oak acorns were kind of sparse this year. We didn't have them hanging like we used to, and I saw very few white oak acorns at all this year.
Wow. I know because I went squirrel hunting the other day in a tournament with my buddy Jonathan, who killed it's actually in that collage you made for me on your website. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
folks, yeah. By the way, folks, you need to hear that. If you harvest anything, send it to this man right here. He'll put it on
Mm-hmm.
his website.
Yep. You can go to www.bubbaroundtreeoutdoors.com and there's links all over the place to send me pictures of the animals that you've harvested.
Yes, turkey, squirrel, deer,
Mm-hmm.
you name it.
Don't matter what it is.
Absolutely. I was about to kill a groundhog yesterday because I saw it in the field and I was like, oh man, I wish I had my dad's 22 because he was going to put it up for the rest of the year because I had it with me. He says, I want it back. And I said, okay, because I took a squirrel hunt with me. Well, actually, I was going to say about the squirrels, I particularly love the white oaks better than they do the
Mm-hmm.
red oaks, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. The squirrels are everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're all over here behind my house. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I killed nothing. I killed no squirrels. And I was like, I think I killed some back here instead of the place where I was at with my buddy Jonathan. and
Oh yeah.
and I mean literally, because I'm in the tree stand hunting, they're all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
But going back to the groundhog, I saw him out in the field, so I ran in here to get my bow, and I was like, well, I might just have to use my rage. So I went out there, and he was at my great aunt's barn, and sure enough, he went in there, and that was it. I couldn't see him no more. So,
We don't see a lot of groundhogs here in South Carolina. They got a few up in the upstate, but we don't see many here in the Midlands.
oh really?
No.
Huh. My neighbor hates them. If there's a person that can't stand groundhogs, it's my neighbor. He hates them.
Mm-hmm.
He says, kill them.
Yeah. Well, they a lot of cattle farmers don't like them because they dig holes and it breaks cattle's legs and stuff like that. So yeah,
Oh,
they.
yeah. Well, another thing, he had an old barn. It's torn down now, but he had an old barn, and the groundhog would literally dig a hole right at the bottom of it and get in the barn
Yeah. Yeah.
and stuff like that. But and I know your daddy's killed so many deer. Oh my
Oh yeah.
goodness. You talk
Yep.
that's a legend in hunting right there.
Yep. Yes, he has. He grew up in the era to where here in South Carolina, back we Joey Cobb was we grew up together. Matter of fact, we taught him how and his brother Russ how to deer hunt. And so he ended up becoming a game warden and ended up being an officer here in our district here. And so we had there could be times we would have two or three different game wardens hunting with us every Saturday. So, but he saw come up through that era in the '90s around here. the deer population before the coyotes really got rooted in here. The deer population was out of hand, and there were a lot of old heads that just still did not want to shoot any does, and they were begging folks, please shoot the does. We had a deer herd that was over 100 or 110 million or something at that time when they said optimum was going to be around 80 was perfect and stuff like that. So they had a lot of deer that they had to get culled out. I think now we're hovering right around 80, right around optimum right now.
Oh, okay. I got you. Like I said, I know. Like I said, I've watched plenty of your plenty of videos. I mean, a lot of videos of your dad killing
Mm-hmm.
bucks. And
Yeah.
um, what's the biggest bug he ever killed? Did he kill that on the dog drive?
Yes, he did. I think the biggest one, he's got one that was it's a mainframe 14. I'm not sure what it is, but it's pictured on he killed that one in the early 60s or mid 60s, and he was down in the river swamp and had climbed up a tree with his new A5 Browning, and that old buck, he was old. He had gotten away from the dog so many times that he had climbed up a tree so that he could see where this deer kept getting out. And the dogs would come in there, and the buck was literally crawling in a big thicket. He was down on his belly and crawling in that thicket where the dogs couldn't get to him, couldn't find him. And he shot him with one hand with that OA5 out of that tree, hanging on a limb with one tree, and shot him in the side of the neck with one hand. It's showing up, and I think that's about the biggest one he's ever taken. It at one time in 1978, I believe it was when he had him officially scored. He was number 11 in the state.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I do remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yep. In 78, he had just missed out on the top 10 in the state. And I think he's way down there now, but that was a heck of an accomplishment. That was a good deer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just to be recognized as the top bucks in the state, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Yeah. What kind of gun you said that? What gun was that Captain Buster used to kill that deer?
He picked up his the old A5 Browning that he shot most of his life. He picked it up. I think it was in 67, 66 or 67. I'm not sure, but I believe that's when he ordered it. At that time, you had to order them, and then they would build it and ship it to you from Belgium. That's where they were built. And so anyway, he shot that A5 until 1993, whenever Miss Jean got him a Benelli and he had been shooting that. And just this past season, I got that old A5 and we started patterning it again. He wants to shoot it some more. Now that he's got up into his 80s and all that, he wants to shoot that old A5 some more.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, an old gun. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. Yep, it still shoots good. We're still kind of in the middle of. I had started a video series on it a few weeks ago, and we're still working on it. Hopefully, I'll be able to get finished with it here soon.
Oh, okay, that'd be good. I'll have to go take a look at those videos. That's a shotgun, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Sure is. John Browning. He knows how to build a gun now.
Oh yeah, man. Ain't that something? Are there any hunts that stick out to you? Like, do you have any favorite hunts or precious memory hunts of anything that you'll never forget?
Oh yeah, most of the main ones is whenever my youngins took their first deer. Hammer was with Captain Buster on a dog drive, and doe yearling sized doe came out, and Hammer didn't hesitate when the deer come out. One or two shots. I can't remember I think he was shooting an old Revelation pump, and two shots he had her down. So, and that was his first deer. And Rachel, we were on a still hunt, and Rachel took her first deer with a 270 that I got put together and zeroed in for and all that. And she took her first deer, which was a small, like a 4-point buck. The back whenever she was like 18, 18 or 19. I'm not sure. But Hammer got his first deer whenever he was like 12.
Oh,
So he started. He got one a little bit earlier. But Rachel, she likes Hammer Hammer don't mind the dog hunting, but Rachel likes the still hunting better. But Hammer would rather go wet a hook and catch a 50-pound catfish.
there you go. Yeah, I'm excited for fishing too.
Yes,
I am
sir.
excited, man. I need to get out there. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, you told me that your mom, Miss Jean, loves to go troll some crappies.
She loves to catch some crappie and some brown now. Yes, sir.
There you go, man. Sweet. Yeah. Tell us. And now we're going to the reloading stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you learn and get into reloading?
I started reloading in 1976. Whenever I was 11 or 12 years old, and we loaded because we at that time we there was always a couple of big dove shoots that we went on annually right before deer season to kind of get sharpened up for deer season. And at that time it was way cheaper to reload your ammunition than it was to buy it off the shelf. So I had an old Mech 600 Junior pre 1980s, probably manufactured in the late 70s, and I've still got that machine today. I still load on it.
Oh,
And uh, but uh, but that's when I got started. I got serious about loading buckshot in the early 2000s, and started studying up on it, doing some experimenting, finding out what would work, what didn't work, learning what I needed to know, and then come to find out we could build some right awesome ammunition that'll reach out there and touch them.
mm, um, speaking of ammunition, my dad pulled off something that he didn't think he'd ever do. He killed two does with one shot with his 270. Oh, I told you
Mm-hmm.
that, I think.
Yep.
I think that's one way of saving ammo.
Yeah, it is. I've had that happen. I've had that happen twice. I think I've taken two with one shot, and then I've taken three with one shot. All
Whoa.
with shooting the solids, the Barnes triple shot.
Uh-huh.
They don't expand so far, if I had a doe and two big yearlings lined up, and thought I had only killed two with one shot, but the third one didn't run off either, and went in, and the third one didn't go 15 yards, and it was lying dead in there too. And then I got two big does one year. All this was before I started filming. I wish I'd have had all that on video,
I
but
know.
unfortunately I do not. That was prior to 2012. That would have been in like '09 and 2010, whenever that
Mm.
happened. But yes, it does happen, especially if you got the right ammunition.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, well, I was doing it like I said, I did a YouTube review video on dad got actually he bought this 270, of course a cheaper price, but from a evangelist that doesn't hunt anymore.
Right.
And he was selling his stuff. And my dad got this gun and he was excited. And he got a bunch of different brands of 270 bullets. We got Winchester, we got the Federal, we got that we got the other brand is called. It's like a black case and all that, but we got some of that. That we the guy had brought us three different Federal bullets of the 270.
Uh-huh.
And the first one, basically, I researched. I was like, what's the best type of bullet for 270? And it was the Federal Fusion.
Mm-hmm. That's a
And
great bullet.
oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there was a YouTube video where this guy sets up several gel blocks
Mm-hmm.
and he'll shoot to see how far it goes in. I mean,
Right.
great penetration.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I'm telling you what, that bullet proved to be itself when Dad shot those two deer. He didn't know the time he got both of them. He texted me and said, "I shot. Come quickly." So I went over there and he said, "I think I did something stupid." he said, "I tried shooting two deer with one shot." And I'm thinking to myself, well, hopefully we find both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And long story short, he was on the phone with somebody. And I told T-Bone the same exact thing. He was looking. He just went across the gas line and he said, "Hey, I found one. Oh, found the other one."
Uh-huh. Yeah,
they were both
it can be.
staying.
You if you get a chance to watch some videos on the Barnes, on the X bullets. I don't think there's a whole lot out there on the Nosler E tip, but the solids like that, they'll go through several blocks. They've got unbelievable penetration. But what you got to look out for with a lot of them is the entrance. The entrance hole is not as important as the exit. You want a good sized exit hole so that animal expires quickly, and that there's a good blood trail to follow. And the problem we were running into with some of the triple shock is that they wouldn't expand quite enough to make. There may only be a silver dollar or a 50-cent piece size exit hole sometimes. But that Nosler E-tip always leaves a big exit hole. In our experience, it did, and stuff like that. But we still shoot a lot of solids. I've got a lot of the AccuBond by Nosler and all that other stuff. By the way, none of these are sponsors. I buy them just like y'all do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So they're really, really good stuff. And when you load your own ammunition too, you can load up some Optimum and some really great performance stuff.
There you go. About that, I was going to say, I know there's one video, and like I said, the one thing, I'd rather miss a deer than hit it and wound it and never find it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's, oh gosh, especially with the bow, that's the hardest. But I remember that one video. You probably know where I'm going to. I saw that one video. You shot that nice 8-pointer twice actually, and you couldn't find it. Was the barn bullets you saying?
That was the Nosler long range. That was that Nosler AccuTip long range, and the Captain Buster had the same problem. He had shot a big doe out of the same stand a couple of weeks later, and didn't find it until too late. We found it after the coyotes had got it, and there was no exit. There was no exit. The bullet went in and performed like a ballistic tip will. It'll go in and just bang like a varmint type round, and didn't leave an exit hole. It didn't go all the way through. And so whenever that happens, you got just one little tiny 27 caliber entrance hole, and you may get a drop of blood every so, but you're not going to be able to see something like that. And yeah, it was really a shame. That was a good buck. I hit him hard twice, but evidently the bullets never exited. And but there's a right there where he made it. I don't know if I ever did an update video on that, but there was a canal full of gators right there. And so what we figure he didn't have to go 12 foot from where I shot him, and he'd have fell over in that canal. And if he fell over in that canal, then the gators got him.
Oh man, yeah, I know that was a tough loss for sure.
I went back over there 3 different times. That was a long ride, and I went back. I kept watching that video when I said that deer is laying right there. He's dead. He's got to be laying right there. I just hadn't found him yet. And so we went back in there a few days later and found that where that canal had come up real close to the road. We didn't know that it was so thick in there. We didn't know it, but the real deep canal came right up within about 12 foot of the road right there where I shot him. And so the only thing that could have happened is that he got about 12 foot off the road and fell in that canal.
And you say alligators got him?
And the gators would have got him. Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow. Can't believe y'all got gators. I know you got gators in South Carolina, but that's crazy. Y'all got them like right there.
We got some places around here. We got them. It looks like Florida.
Oh, man. Wow. Do you have you tried to kill any, or y'all allowed to shoot them?
Well, we put in for tags every year. I hadn't got one yet. I had some buddies that have though. Halftime has been in on a couple of hunts where some friends have gotten into some got a gator tag. You put in for them every year, and it's like a lottery type selection type stuff.
I got you. I know your daddy. I noticed he likes to use a semi-auto rifle a lot when he still hunts. Is that a 7mm he's got? Yep.
He hear about that a lot too. But anyway, it's if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. He shot a 30-06 for years and years, and it was an old 740 auto loader, and he picked up. There were several of the old guys that we were talking about earlier, and they wanted to go out to Wyoming and New Mexico and go on an elk hunt. So he picked up that BAR and got it dialed in, and he liked it so much he just never put it back on the shelf. He uses it for deer hunting all the time. It works like a charm too. That's
Yeah,
I mean, Browning builds a nice rifle, or they build a nice weapon, period. And that BAR, it's a tack driver, and he's confident even out of 200 yards. It's a tack driver. You can put that bullet wherever you want to put it.
7 millimeter.
7 millimeter Remington mag.
My dad loves that one. I mean, well, it was actually my pawpaw's. He's got both of them actually. My dad does. But then for a few years, my dad loved to use the 30-06. And like I said, oh my gosh, he shot two little ones like less than 20 yards from him. I mean, that bullet of the 30-06 put a giant entrance hole like you partially gutted the deer. It was unbelievable.
Uh-huh.
I mean, oh
It,
my word. And then go ahead.
I was saying I shot a 30-06 when I was a teenager. I shot a 30-06 for several years. Then I went to a 270 in the late 80s, and I've been shooting 270 ever since. I shoot a 270. Hammer shoots a 270. Rachel shoots a 270. Josh shoots a 270. There may be somebody else. I think Iron Man, Josh's brother Joseph, he shoots 30-06.
Oh,
But
okay.
most of us shoot 270.
Wow. That's a really good deer round.
Mm-hmm. It works good for us.
There you go. And my dad, actually, and like I said, and just a couple years ago, he decided to go back and shoot the 7 millimeters, my pawpaw's guns, and that's actually the second buck my dad killed this year that tagged him out of bucks. That's the one he killed a 7 millimeter with. He killed that one, and I mean, literally, that buck. That's one I've been seeing on camera for a couple of weeks. I'm like, man, that's a nice buck. I was like, Dad, you need to get him. So he went over to my boss's place, and look what happened. I didn't never see the buck, but he come out with my dad. He come out, scraped, made his show and everything,
Yeah,
and never turned broadside. And Dad put it right in the neck, and he
that's
took.
it. That's lights out. If you get a good neck shot on one with a supersonic bullet, this lights out.
It was a good buck. I can't wait to go get the euros for my dad. Um, like I said, that first one he killed though with the muzzleloader. Um, I had I guess I may be a good guide now because I told Dad, I said, you can go in there and kill him. He killed him. So, because I mean, I was getting trail camera pictures of him for that week. He was in there in the evening in daylight hours, like you'd be in there hunting. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. My dad could probably kill this deer. But he come in there eating for corn. Well, that day Dad killed him, he was totally focused on the does.
Uh-huh.
His whole attitude rotated. And Dad killed him at 12 yards. And then the buck I killed later on, he was standing in the same exact spot where Dad killed his 12 yards.
Yeah.
And it was unreal. But I think that second buck was a little bigger. That buck's definitely 110 inches or more.
Oh goodness, that's still a good deer.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, for sure. But like I said, we've had a lot of good hunting stories and hunting stuff shared.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, a lot of things I've been learning from you about back when you literally had basically a hatchery. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of chickens. How did you get in that? Because I like to do it for me as like a hobby, and I like to kind of make some money, some like selling chicks and hatching them for certain breeds.
Yeah,
I've been
we had a lot of folks around here that were really interested in raising them and stuff like that. And at the time I had some friends that had a lot of really nice heritage birds and some exotics and stuff like that. And so we decided to get into that and try to sell some hatching eggs and some chicks and stuff like that for till the kids would get out of college. They were all college age at this time. And so got into it, learned how to build some incubators and stuff like that. And so I just started sharing that on YouTube as I would learn and as we would spend some time with it. Then I would start putting it on YouTube as I found something that would work, and it was helped a lot of people out to find out. I mean, whenever an incubator with a turner and all that's going to cost you $200, and you can build one for 20, then most folks would rather just go build one for 20.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. That yeah, that's it. That yeah, absolutely. That channel started before Bubba Roundtree Outdoors, I think, right?
About the same time. It was started, the BRO channel started in '07, and I think I started the it was Rush Lane Poultry at that time. It's now Homesteading in South Carolina is the name of the channel, and it's in I think I started it in '09.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So just a couple of years later. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing about the same thing too. I'm posting my poultry videos on the hunting channel. But like I
Yep.
said, poultry is outdoors too. They live outside.
Yep.
And like I said, I honestly we're seeing I personally believe that we're seeing a lot of hunters and a lot of outdoors people do the same things, like raise chickens, raise turkeys, hatch them and stuff. And I mean, basically it comes down just good old country people want to eat some
Yep.
eggs, you know.
That's right. And I could eat it, grits and eggs every meal.
There you go. Hey, my grandpa was in the hospital last month. By the way, he's doing much better.
Hallelujah. That's
Made,
great to hear.
made unbelievable progress. I mean, just days after I be wheeling him, he's up walking all over the house. I mean, it's like, wow. So,
That's that's awesome.
oh, praise the Lord. Well, here's the thing, because his oxygen would go down and he would get really short of breath. But he would use the Navage thing from Walgreens to clean his sinuses out. And that,
Yep.
oh my gosh, I think that was we've been missing the whole time.
Yeah. Well,
It was
that's
unbelievable.
great.
But yeah, he's doing better. But I was going to say he loves my chicken eggs.
Yeah.
He the eggs in the hospital. He'll tell you they're not as good as the ones at home.
No, no, those powdered eggs, they don't stand a chance.
Right, that's right. Absolutely. You won't believe that you won't believe this way, but I got over 40 chickens right now.
Oh yeah. I don't know. We may have about 20 out there. We're just a fraction of what we used to do. I just raise enough. I hatch enough and raise enough to keep us in eggs every year. That's all we do.
Yeah, there you go. Like I said, I'm wanting to keep doing this because, like I said, after watching you, I was like, man, I want to get in. And later, thank you, Wade.
Oh yeah.
I was wanting to get into some raising some birds, and I mean, like I said, I've been raising chickens for 11 years now. This April, this March, and but I started getting to different chicken breeds, and turns out I bought some chicken. At one time, I had one flock, and then I would have to make another flock, basically for a mother hen and babies, and for just young chickens. But turns out I accidentally grabbed uh, a little baby rooster from my work, where I work
Yeah.
at now, and it was an Easter egger. So I was like,
Uh-huh.
that would be great. So I was like, here we go. So I started out with 3 hens and a rooster, and now he's still down there, and he's got about 7 hens with him. And I've been able to hatch some chicks. And it turns out, I guess, I've only hatched a few out of them, maybe less than 8, but majority of
Yeah.
them were females.
Well, that's good.
That's
That's
a good
good.
genetic thing.
Yeah, it
And
is.
I
Some of the
have,
best layers that I have are just old crosses, barnyard chickens.
oh yeah, they're good too, especially if you cross the two good
Yeah,
breeds.
that's right.
And like I said, well, of course, the sex links, they're the best ones ever.
Yeah, they're some of the best out there. I do that some every year too. I still got some Rhode Island Reds and some Leghorns, and that's a good cross. And they're sex linked whenever they come out, so you know what they are.
Oh yeah, there you go. Let's see. Yeah, like I said, I have the Easter eggers, and I have a person or two every once in a while keep in contact with me and let me know how they're doing.
Yeah.
The ones I hatched and sold them to, and I hatched one that was so beautiful. I mean, uh, like white on the face and black around the body. I mean, those are beautiful Easter eggers.
Oh man, yeah. I used to love our exotic birds too. I
I
see, Tyler. I hate to interrupt, but I've got to run out and check on something right quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem at all, buddy.
I'll be right back.
All right. There we
Sorry
go.
about that, buddy.
Oh
We
no,
were
you're
just
good.
talking. We were just talking about that thing, and I got them big aggravating roosters out there in the yard, and I left a dang window down in my pickup, and
Oh no.
I looked out there, and they standing there eyeballing that open window, and I'm like, oh, for gosh sakes! I was just before having a 15-pound rooster sitting in my truck.
Oh my gosh. Wow, unreal. That's crazy. I'm having to charge my camera. I'm recording the Zoom thing, but I'm
Right?
hoping it catches the audio and stuff.
Oh yeah.
We'll see how this does. But so yeah, about the chickens. I also got I got some cream leg bars, and those are you don't hear those much.
No, you don't. We never did raise any of them here. We had I love the Polish are beautiful. We enjoyed raising the Polish and the Easter eggers, and we had some Anconas, then some Aracanas, all the Easter eggers, the green egg layers, and all that. They were some fun birds to have.
Oh yeah, actually, I do have some anconas now.
Oh yeah.
Those, yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, every time you go in there, they think you're a predator. They're some sweetest birds. Oh my lord.
We had the Ancona rooster that I had. He was one of the biggest I ever had. That was a monster.
Really?
Yeah, he was a big boy.
Oh yeah, I got one now. He's a beautiful he's a beautiful crower. Um, but actually, he's only just got two girls with him. So hopefully, Lord willing, if I have a mother hen or I'll give him to a lady who loves to hatch him. I'll try to get some more females hatched and put him in there with
Oh
him.
yeah.
Because,
We about to get into that time of year. They feeling it here in the South. It's warming up a little bit, so the roosters are getting a little bit antsy.
well, you know what? Just about a month ago or 2 months ago, I was getting less. One time I got zero eggs. Now
Uh-huh.
it's skyrocketing up there.
Oh Lord, yeah, there's
I'm getting
some days Rachel will pick up 20 eggs out there. So,
that's how much I'm getting now, pretty much.
mm-hmm.
It's unreal. Yeah, I know one of your breeding flocks you had was the Dominics.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That was
I
one of
got
the.
one.
I had a big flock of Dominics. There were some great birds. Rooster was mean as Satan himself,
Oh no.
and I only had one rooster, and I come within killing him a couple of times. Every time
Mm.
you go in there to get the eggs, he'd run up and hit you several times. And I know twice I grabbed him by the neck and I just hang on to him while I was in there and getting the eggs. But then there's a couple of times Miss Joanne running up there saying, Wade, you better put him down. You better put him down. And I laid him down and I said, well, maybe that's it. He's gone this time. But his eye would start twitching. He'd jump up and he'd start crowing again and all that. And he'd be ready to fight again.
I tried with my Easter egg, or I have to watch him. I mean, he's never flogged me, but he attacks my shoes. But
Uh-huh.
I'll hold him up by the legs sometimes, and I put him down. He'll stop. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
You,
that's a miracle. And I'm
you can grab their wings right behind their head, fold their wings up and grab it with one hand right behind their head,
uh
and they can't get you then either. That's how I'd pick up the eggs a lot of times if I had a mean one.
there you go. I I have to watch my cream leg bar. He just did this to me today. He didn't flog me, but I was walking out the gate and I turned back around and he was right behind my
Oh
leg.
yeah, they'll hit you when your back is turned. Now they'll run up and hit you in the back when you're not looking at them.
But when I turn around and put my shoe in his face, he'll act like I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I wasn't. I wasn't. I wasn't.
I was just checking your skin out, see how
That's
good it
it.
was. But no, and then I got the cream leg bars. Oh my gosh, he's a beautiful rooster.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm getting some good blue eggs from them. And then I got 3 well bars in there with them to make olive eggers.
Yeah.
And they lay some beautiful dark brown eggs. I love those. And
Yeah. So the black, we I had a huge flock of black copper Morans for several years, and some blue Morans, and they would lay some of the darkest chocolate eggs you ever seen in your life.
man, wow.
Absolutely beautiful stuff. And yeah, you cross them up with an Easter egger or with Ancona or Americana, and then you get that olive egger.
That's right. And like I said, that's why. And I post these videos on the springtime, and people know that about the chickens. I do that. Let's see. Oh gosh, I remember back then. I know you had turkeys, you had
Mm-hmm.
the quails, you had
Yep.
chucker partridges. Oh my gosh,
Yep.
would have been
I
something.
released. I probably released 1,000 Bob White, Georgia Bob White here, right here around my place.
Mm-mm-mm. Did they stay around your area, or did they become wild?
No, they would usually move. They would usually move off. I hadn't raised any in several years, and I haven't heard them around here.
Mm.
Well, I've heard them in neighboring counties and all that, but not around here. That was the first time I'd heard of Bob White around here, probably in 20 years when I started raising them.
Wow, wow. Let's see. It'd have been something if you ended up raising an ostrich.
Well, we had thought about emu at one time. I had access to some emu eggs, and but we decided not to. We were getting the kids were about out of school and all that then, and it was winding down. So we decided not to try to keep a dang dinosaur in the backyard.
they oh gosh, they're huge birds.
Yeah, they are.
Woo. Have you ever done peacocks, peafowl?
No, I had a neighbor that evidently he really don't like the way they call or the way they sound, and he said, "You wasn't planning on raising any peacocks, were you?" I said, "No, not really. They just a fancy pheasant." I said, but no, I wasn't planning on raising any."
Oh wow, yeah. Oh gosh, I got so many different breeds. I got, like I said, and I do have some mixed flocks. Then my bar rock, my Dominic, my cuckoo marins are in with my Buff Orpington Speckled Sussex cross rooster, who's red. So
Mm-hmm.
he's made great black sex links.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And the Dominic mix, oh my word, it was a beautiful like a experiment, and
Yep.
it was perfect. I mean, I hatched one, and here's the best part: I've never hatched a black sex link male. I've only hatched a couple, and they were all females.
Mm-hmm.
And the sex link Dominic mix, I gave to a friend of mine who, like I said, who may hatch some for me in the incubator. Take my eggs over there to her, but she hatched or I gave her my Dominic black sex link, and just looks like a black sex link, solid
Mm-hmm.
black, the red stuff, but all it is that flat comb.
Yeah.
And beautiful bird. And I remember when she was young, I'd be down there, I'd be bending down. Sure enough, I feel something on my back. She wants to roost on me.
Yep. We've had a few
Oh,
like that. It's usually a lot of several of the bantams and all that would be like that. They like to fly up and light on your shoulder or sit on your hat.
yeah, I have one. I have a bantam flock. My rooster, and there's a light Brahma bantam.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a standard light Brahma hen. I have 3 silkies. They're the sweetest birds.
Oh yes, they are. They
Oh
really
yeah. And
are.
then I have a white Japanese bantam, black Cochin bantam. Then I have one bantam that it was hard to find a home for. For I was like, well, I might as well just keep him. I don't think he's going to do any damage to the big chickens and my big rooster. Um, he is a red, beautiful little rooster. but he likes to crow 24/7.
Uh-huh.
So I call him
Yep, some of them
Sarge.
are big loudmouths.
So I call him Sarge. He likes to talk. Oh my gosh. He'll crow at 9 o'clock p.m. when I'm down there closing them up.
Oh yeah. There's some that I have some down there that go crow all night.
Oh my word. Oh me. But yeah, man, like I said, but we hey man, we've enjoyed this talking and we could talk more, man, but hey, this is just the start of it. But I think we may just end it there because we've probably been talking for what, an hour, I think.
Yeah, pretty close.
Woo. Um, but man, I tell you, we have a lot in common. We love to raise poultry. We love to get outdoors, hunt, fish.
Hmm.
We're just a bunch of both country folks.
That's it. That's the way we were brought up.
Absolutely. And you can obviously tell it in here that not only that, I'm a big NASCAR fan.
Oh yeah.
And this place is totally a country man cave.
That's it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. This will be a nice
Absolutely.
man cave here when I get done with it.
There you go, buddy. But Wade, once again, buddy, I appreciate it. And hopefully I can get into some more podcasts with some other guys. T-Bone said hey, he's going to try to get the people from Realtree and the other guys from Bone Collector in on my podcast.
Oh, that'll be great. And we
That'd
can do
be
this again anytime.
absolutely, buddy. We got to get this channel growing. Like I said, the best is yet to come, man.
All right.
So hopefully. So but folks, hope y'all enjoyed that. This was episode 4 of the podcast. Me and my buddy Wade Rush above Roundtree Outdoors. We hope to see you guys again. As always, we'll see you next time. Y'all be sure to